have been staying in this house for some time now. I grew up here, so I know every nook and cranny of this house. My parents moved out a while ago, leaving me here to take care of the place, I assume. They didn't say anything to me. They just packed their stuff and left. I guess they rented out from time to time, as I've seen many people come and go. Some were cool, some were assholes. But all in all, it hasn't been that bad. I stay in the attic. I turned into a bedroom a while back. It's a little cramped, but how much space does a guy like me really need? Sometimes, when I'm bored, I like to sit up there and reflect on some of the people I've came in contact with during their stay here, like the businessman, Mr. Reynolds. He was cool. Mid-30s, ladies' man. Kept his place looking sharp, for the ladies, of course. He was always talking to some Chinese-looking guy on what he called his laptop. I don't really know what that is. Then one day he just disappeared. Some people came and took his stuff shortly after that. I wonder whatever happened to him. Anyway, then there were, what I like to call, for lack of a better term, the high guys. Two stoner buddies that like to sit around all day, drink beer, play video games and get stoned. Who am I to judge anyone? To each their own, I always say. But they trashed this place. I can't have that. I tried everything I could to get them out of here. But they were so high, most of the time, they thought I was a hallucination, and laughed it off. I stayed in my room the day the cops came to the house, and take them away. Who's laughing now? There's been many families move in and out. None of them really stayed too long. Moms and dads, with a couple kids. Sometimes, just mom and kids. Sometimes, just dad, aside from a few screaming matches and the sounds of lovemaking, on occasion. We all seem to pretty well get along. I really enjoyed playing with the kids, though. They're so much fun, playing hide and seek, duck duck goose, games like that. It made me feel alive. I really miss those kids, but now there's Susan. She moved in about 6 months ago. Susan is amazing. She's single with no kids. Though she does have a cat, Oscar. Oscar doesn't like me at all. Every time I come in the room, he stands up, curls his back and hisses at me, like he's ready to attack. I don't want any trouble, so I just leave Oscar alone. Susan goes to work early every morning and doesn't return till late at night, sometimes after dark. I don't know exactly what she does for a living, but I'm sure I will find out eventually. She spends most of her days off, just watching Hallmark movies and eating lots of ice cream. I don't understand why, but as pretty as she is, she can do whatever she likes. Susan is about 5 feet 4 inches tall, late 20s, maybe early 30s, with beautiful long brown hair, these amazing green eyes, and a voice like an angel. It doesn't hurt that she's chunky in all the right places, either. No disrespect to any of you ladies listening this. Susan may be the most beautiful woman I have seen in a long time, but her housekeeping skills leave a lot to be desired. It's not that she's a slob or anything. It's just that she doesn't clean up after herself very well. So, on occasion, while she's at work, just to help out, I will pick up the cups and dishes from around the house and put them in the sink. Pick up her clothes. I don't know what kind of perfume she uses, but damn, does it smell good. Anyway, I will put her clothes on the hamper, sweep the floor, turn the lights out, things like that. Nothing real major, just the basics. It always makes me happy to see the smile on her face when she comes home and sees the house straightened up. She just stands there smiling and she always says, "Thank you. Anything for you, Susan." Anything. I am so taken by Susan that sometimes at night, I like to go stand at her bedroom door and just watch her sleep. She looks so peaceful. I would like nothing more than to lay beside her with my arms around her waist and just hold her. Maybe someday. I know it's only been a little while, but I think I'm falling in love with her. I want to tell her how I feel. I want to show her. I think I'll do it tonight when she gets home. What's that? Some kind of folder on the table. HPRC Hamilton Paranormal Research Center. Case file number 137. Paranormal. I've never seen this before. She must have left it behind when she left for work today. I'll just take IPK. That's a picture of Susan. What does it say underneath, lead investigator? Wow, sounds important. Here's a letter. I can barely read the writing. I hereby give my permission to any member of the HPRC to live in my residence for the sole purpose of obtaining evidence of paranormal activity within and assist in removal of said activity. I can't read the signature, but there's that word again. There's more. A newspaper clipping from 1974. What does it say? Yesterday, the only son, Michael, age 17, of respected banker William Bernard and his wife, Emily, was found dead in an apparent accidental fall from the attic door to the hallway below. The cause of death was a broken neck. The incident occurred in their home located at 19 Chestnut Street. Wait, Michael Bernard, that's my name, and that's my address. Those are my parents. What? I'm dead. I can't be dead. I can see, I can feel, I can touch. I remember the fall. I remember getting up. I remember my mother coming up the stairs, crying, because I fell. Wait, she wasn't looking at me. She was looking at the dead me on the floor. I remember now. The two men in suits coming over and taking my body away, all my relatives coming over a few days later, dressed in black, crying, talking about I was too young to go. Go where? I didn't understand it then. I didn't go anywhere. I understand now. I'm a ghost. That explains everything. Why Mr. Reynolds never answered me when I talked to him. He couldn't see me. He couldn't hear me. Why the stoners thought I was a hallucination, because in their altered state of mind, they could see me, just thought they were imagining it. Why the parents of the children would always ask their kids, "Who are you talking to?" Then scream at me to leave their kids alone. They couldn't see me either. Why her cat hates me. Why my parents just up and left one day. I thought they left me the house. Come to think of it, I haven't seen them in years. And why Susan was always smiling when I cleaned up. It wasn't because I did it. She was looking for evidence of my existence. She wants to get rid of me. I don't want to leave. I like it here. This is my house. I'm not leaving without a fight. She wants evidence. I'll give her evidence. I really loved her. I helped her. I even tolerated her damn cat. Well, screw all that. I've been nice so far, but after this, no more Mr. Nice Guy. She should be home soon. I'll wait right here, so when she comes through the door, game on. Out to here is a story of the events that occurred at 19 Chestnut St. July 25, 2018, starting at approximately 9:08 p.m. and ending at approximately 9:27 p.m. This was taken from video surveillance cameras and audio microphones placed in the living area, kitchen, upstairs hallway, and master bedroom of the home. 9:08 p.m. Susan Meyer, former lead investigator for the Hamilton Paranormal Research Center, arrives at the home and enters through the front door. 9:09 p.m. A small manila folder, sitting on the coffee table, begins to shake and eventually takes flight in the direction of Mrs. Meyer, striking her between the eyes, causing a small cut in her skin and tiny droplets of blood to flow down her face. 9:10 p.m. A large curio cabinet to her right seems to move out by itself, about 3 inches from the wall, and crash to the floor in front of her, pinning her between it and the front door. At which time, Mrs. Meyer screams, "Michael, why are you doing this?" 9:11 p.m. A low humming sound is heard, the volume intensifies, and forms into what appears to be a voice saying, "This is my house." 9:12 p.m. All lights, under surveillance, start turning on and off by themselves. Doors opening and closing repeatedly. The front door opens so hard that it strikes Mrs. Meyer in the back, knocking her over the broken cabinet and onto the floor, dropping her purse in the process. 9:13 p.m. What appears to be a strong gust of wind blows through the living area, so hard that it knocks over a table lamp and several knickknacks off the shelves, sending them crashing to the floor below. 9:15 p.m. From the floor, Mrs. Meyer screams, "Michael, stop. I know this is your house. I know. Stop." 9:16 p.m. A small cat enters the frame from the bottom left corner of the screen and immediately flies backwards off screen. The sound of it hitting the wall and scurrying away is heard soon after. 9:18 p.m. All activity stops. Mrs. Meyer stands, grabbing my purse, and says, "Michael, listen to me. I know you're mad. I don't want you to leave. I want you to stay. I quit my job today to be with you. I want to be with you here in this house." 9:21 p.m. What appears to be a large mass of black fog appears on camera, forming into what looks like a person. 9:22 p.m. Staring directly into the fog, Mrs. Meyer says, "Michael, I can finally see you. I love you. I love everything you do for me, and now, we'll always be together." 9:24 p.m. Reaching into her purse, Mrs. Meyer produces a small handgun and places it to her temple. 9:25 p.m. All video surveillance cameras shut down and lose signal. Only audio remains. 9:26 p.m. One single gunshot is heard, then the sound of a something heavy hitting floor. 9:27 p.m. All transmissions are lost. The body of Susan Meyer was found dead after a neighbor called 911 to report what sounded like a gunshot. Officers arrived on the scene to find the house in disarray, and Mrs. Meyer's bloody corpse lying on floor in the living area. The victim of an apparent suicide. The body was taken to the county morgue, where cause of death was confirmed. The results for case number 137 are as follows. The home is believed to be completely consumed by a malevolent evil spirit. Any further investigation may result in injury and/or death of another member of this organization. I will not take that risk. Case number 137 is now closed and will never be spoke of again. He is American, and his name is Peterson. I'll call him Peter for this story. His school bag is a fairly small, bright red bag. He is a bit shorter than me. His hair is quite short and brown in color. This will become important momentarily. One day I was upstairs in my school. It was break time, and I was going to my group's usual spot. I turned a corner and saw Peter walking along the hallway. This was weird because, at the distance I was from him, I would have seen him come up the stairs. I didn't think much of it at the time. I sped up to catch up to him. There was another corner coming up. He rounded it and I followed suit. Except, he wasn't there. There was a staircase going back down and 2 bathrooms, one for lad and one for lassies, but no Peter. Considering how close I was behind him, he would have had to sprint towards, and then jump down the stairs, or jog into the bathroom. If he went for the stairs, I would have heard. He must be in the bathroom. I thought. I sat at the bench and waited. Peter was the first other person in our group to arrive. He rounded the corner and left his bag down. The realization hit him hard. He wasn't in the bathroom. I asked him if he had already been up there, to which he answered that he hadn't. He had no reason to lie. Now, I know what you're all thinking. It was someone else. First of all, the person I saw looked the exact same as my friend from the back. Second of all, no one else in the school has that bag, to my knowledge. I haven't seen anyone else with it, that is. Third, the only place the person could have gone, without sprinting down the stairs, which I would probably catch a glimpse of anyway, would be the bathroom. No one came out of the bathroom that I didn't see enter it. Finally, my friend is a fairly distinct character. Not many people have the same body build as him. Like I said at the start, it's not exactly terrifying, but I do believe it to be due to a glitch in the Matrix. The following is a very true experience. I don't know if anyone has experienced this too. This happened between 1989 and 1990, and I was about the age of 4 years old. To this day I still get chills thinking about it, and I wonder if in some way unknown, it changed me. My parents had a house in the Inland Empire of Southern California, and at the time my brother hadn't been born yet, so I was still the only child. To give you a layout, my parents' house was a 2-story house located in a cul-de-sac. On the bottom floor there was 2 bedrooms, a bathroom, the living room and the kitchen. The second floor was just a master bedroom and bath. All you could see from the street was the garage and one of the bedroom windows on the bottom floor, and the window of my mom's bathroom on the second floor. To get to the front door, you had to walk along the cement pathway that ran along the side of the house. You had to pass the first bedroom that you can see from the street, then you pass the bathroom window and then another bedroom window, and then you would be at the front door. The backyard was beyond that point. My bedroom at the time was the bedroom next to the front door. Now, for some reason, my blinds weren't completely down to the bottom of the window. There was about a 6-inch gap with nothing covering it. I was pretty young, so I didn't really care much about it then. The bed was in the middle of the wall across from my bedroom door, and to the left was the window. According to my mom, this all happened right before midnight. My mother was asleep in her room upstairs, and my dad was a policeman that worked nights in another city. I was fast asleep in my room, and out of nowhere I suddenly awoke, looking up at the ceiling. I don't know what woke me or if I just popped awake on my own. After my eyes adjusted to the night's light of my bedroom, I sat up and started looking around my room. All of a sudden something caught my eye at the window, in the gap. First, I thought it was the street light reflecting on the window. But I knew for a fact that there was only one street light, and what I was looking at was 2 obvious glowing spots that were spaced apart as if on someone's face. Then I thought, is that a cat looking at me? And yes, I vividly remember thinking these things, trying to debunk this at 4 years old. I had remembered then that my cat Chelsea's eyes would reflect at night. But this looked different than that. The cat's eyes would almost have different colors when reflecting. These were 2 very solid, bright white glowing eyes looking straight at me. I just stared at them, frozen stiff, trying to make sense of what I'm seeing. I couldn't see a face at all. The eyes were just so bright, nothing else stood out. That whiter face around the eyes looked blacker than the night. I thought again, well, if this is a cat, how could a cat be big like a person, and why would a cat stand up to stare in my bedroom? The curiosity got me and I went for it. I flipped my covers off, turned my little 4-year-old body towards the window, and put my feet on the floor. This is the moment the creepiest thing happened, and it will forever be burned into my brain. I got off the bed, and got on my knees, to get a closer look at this so-called cat. When at this very moment, this faceless pair of glowing white eyes begins to slowly and steadily tilt to the side, very similar to Michael Myers in Halloween, eyes still locked on me. Not blinking once. The feeling of dread and fear shot through my body. Completely terrified, I burst into tears immediately, and booked it down the hallway, through the living room, and up the stairs to tell my mom. Although I was going as fast as I could, it felt like it took forever. When I got to my mom, I was so upset, I couldn't get any words out. Tears were streaming down my face, and my mom was becoming seriously concerned at this point. She was able to calm me down just enough for me to get out the words there's white eyes looking at me through my window, on the bottom. Stutter crying hard. Are you sure? My mom asked. I cry out yes. She didn't even go down to look, she just called the police. I don't remember the time it took for them to arrive, or what they said, because I finally fell asleep in my mom's bed. I do remember faintly waking up to a knock on the door, and my mom going to open it. The cop speaks to her, and I hear her say, "Okay, thank you, good night." And she shuts the door. Did they find it, Mommy? I asked, half asleep. No, honey, he said they couldn't find anyone. My mom told me softly. It's okay now, just try to go back to sleep. It's safe to say that the next day, my whole window was covered. Years fast forward, and I'm in middle school now. Every now and then I would think about that night. Sometimes I wondered if that moment was real, if those eyes were really there. Those unforgettable white eyes. One day a random thought came up, and I asked my mom if she remembered that night. She tells me yes, of course. Why? I don't know, just wondering, I guess. I said. Then my mom proceeds to say, well, I never told you this, but when the deputy came out that night, he told me they made it a priority to get out to her house as soon as they could, because not very long before I called 911 they received another call from someone else reporting that someone was looking in their window in our same neighborhood. Hearing that sent chills down my spine, and to this day I wonder who or what was looking at me that night.